Hey everyone, welcome back to Garnock Reviews and welcome to Sweet Baby Jane. This is a 2014 Sabre 42 Saloon Express. This one's currently up for sale from my good friend Joe in Daytona. At the time of shooting this video, we're asking $599,000. She measures in at approximately 42 feet in length with a beam of 14 feet. She's got a maximum draft of just over 3 feet and a bridge clearance of 12.5. So she's great for weekend cruising, but she's also great for tackling things like the Great Loop if you wanted to. She's got 2 times 380 gallons of fuel, 140 gallons fresh water, and 60-gallon holding tank. So there's plenty of capacity on there to spend some time on the water with. As you can see, this one is immaculate and been well maintained. As you step into the aft cockpit, plenty of seating here for your family and friends to join you. Love that cockpit table with the wooden finish on it. It's got the non-slip deck material throughout, and for most of the time I was on board I was barefoot, and this works really well. I like the fact that there's as many handholds to hold on to. It always feels safe and secure. This is a fast boat. She'll cruise in the high 20s with a maximum speed of over 30. But you'll see it's got a lot of comfort and luxury, including having that extendable shade that can come out and give you plenty of protection from the Florida sun. And over the stern, we've got a door in the transom that leads out. This one's got an extended bathing platform, so you even got pop-up cleats if you want to tie up tenders to it, something like that. There's a boarding lid on the port side with a handhold grip for getting back on the boat. And then here we've also got a large lazarette. This one's got 2 hatches. You can see that it's been used for storage, for things like the life raft. There's all sorts of available space down there as well. As I make my way around, I love the shine off the hull. I love the wooden accent features that it has. It's got the high guardrail. It's got the side door access to the lower helm. Makes it easy when it's close quarter maneuvering, especially if you're doing it single-handed. Plenty of space up in the bow if you wanted to sit out here. Perhaps have a glass of wine while we're at anchor. And then on the bow you'll see we've got the electric windlass. And this can be operated from here, but it's also got a push button mechanism which I'll show you next to the helm. We've got very deep anchor lockers on either side. Not only is this good for your rod and for your chain, but you can also use this for bow lines, and you can even throw the fenders in here when it's not in use. As I pan round, this one's got a timeless classic design appearance to it, but it's also got that low air draft. So if bridge clearance is something that's a concern to you, this is the one to go for. And as I make my way aft, again you can see we've got that handhold to reach out to. I always feel very comfortable when you're walking down here. It's quite a wide passage as well, especially for a boat of this size. You can see the handholds up overhead as well. And to continue that yacht theme to it with a wooden effect, the inside is absolutely immaculate. It's got some of the best woodwork finish I've seen on any boat. Plenty of headroom. I'm 6'2", and normally I'm the first one to notice whenever I walk into a boat how little headroom's available, but you can't say that with this one. You get the saloon to the port side with that L-shaped seating and the cockpit table in the middle. You get the helm located to starboard. Those large windows, most of the windows on board are opening, so you do get extra fresh air and ventilation. But I also like the fact that the windows you see here on either side of the door, those are also able to open. So whenever you drop those down, it basically extends the aft cockpit into the saloon. And we've even got a pop-up TV here, which you can adjust the angle to. And whenever everything's open, you can even see the TV out in the aft cockpit, if that's what your preference is. And then if you are looking at doing extended cruising, storage is always going to be something that's a primary focus, and this one does not disappoint. There's storage drawers, lockers, cabinets, everywhere you can possibly imagine. And they almost all have that push button lock mechanism, making sure that everything stays safe and secure. And you can see that the cockpit table, you are able to lower that down, and this becomes a double berth if you wanted to. And the leaves on this one as well, they also expand out or they can retract, depending if you're using the table or if you need more space as you walk by. But again, look at that high gloss shine and finish. An extremely well maintained example. And even notice over here, they've got that little lip at the edge so that nothing can slide off while the boat's underway. You get extra handholds. And even the storage again, push button lock mechanism. This is currently being used to store a bunch of glasses for your drinks, but it's also got plates and different silverware underneath. And up overhead, we've basically the same idea as a car sunroof, but I love the fact that you can close this up whenever the weather's not suitable. But if you want, you can open that up and you get that open air. It's just the best of both worlds. And when we take the window covers off, you can just see how large those windows are and such great visibility you have standing at the helm. And speaking of the helm, I like the fact that there's two seats here. In my opinion, this one's going to be bought by a husband and wife team. And that way you both get to enjoy cruising. As I mentioned earlier, you get that side door access to the deck. This one's an extremely easy boat to maintain and maneuver. She's pod driven. And she's even got the Skyhook feature in here as well, which is also joystick controlled. And you'll see we've got a full bank of modern electronics. There's space here if you wanted to add more, if you've got your own preference. See those joystick controls, the fusion stereo, the air conditioning controls, autopilot, everything you could possibly need already here. And that Skyhook's a great feature, especially if you're going to go through bridges. Basically the boat can keep itself in its position and work out whatever the wind and tide's doing, how to compensate for it. And then as we move on down to the galley, once you step down to the galley, because you're stepping down right just where the front helm windows are, there's tremendous headroom here. You get so much natural light if you were to take those window covers off, but you got artificial light here as well. You got opening hatches, that way you get extra ventilation, especially when you're cooking. You get a convection microwave oven. You get a good amount of countertop space for preparing your meals. You get a 2-burner electric stovetop. You get a large stainless steel sink, and this one's got like a shower head to the faucet. And not only do we have the push button mechanism here, but it's got that like louver effect to the doors. And you'll notice that as we go through the cabin that most of the doors have that. And that way you get the fresh air circulating, so you don't have that damp moldy smell on board. Those drawers underneath the sink, those drawers to the left hand side, more cabinets. And then we've got 2-drawer refrigeration here. So again, this one's ideal not only for entertainment, for family and friends, keeping all your drinks and snacks close at hand, but if you are looking at doing extended cruising, you don't have to be in a hurry back into shore to stock up on supplies. And for additional storage, there's a hatch which I really like in the galley. And if I open this takes you basically into part of the bilges, but you can see here that it's so clean and so well organized. You can put different spares down here. You can turn it into basically a kitchen pantry. You've got all different options. You've got cleaning materials in here. You get access to a lot of the electrical appliances. And if you ever did want to do any upgrade, you can see how easily accessible everything is down here. It's a very clean example. And as well as having the 2-drawer refrigeration, if I take a couple of steps down here, you'll notice that on the left hand side, there's actually got a freezer in here as well. So you've got both refrigeration, you've also got plenty of freezer capacity as well. There's a lot included for a boat of this size and design, and again notice that strong handhold in place for going up and down the steps. And to starboard is where you're going to find the first guest cabin. Look at the amount of storage drawers that's in this one as I pan the camera around. Again, all the drawers have got that push button lock mechanism. But you can easily spend an extended period of time on board because there's plenty of storage options for your clothes and personal belongings. You've got plenty of headroom in here. And this has got like a sliding door effect to it, so you can have privacy if you want it. I love the woodwork that's in here. I never noticed any blemishes at all anywhere in the yacht, so you don't need to worry about any leaks or anything like that, even in the overhead hatches. And then we've got side hatches as well. And as well as all those drawers, we do also have a locker that's got a hanging locking space in here, again with that louver door for the fresh air. It's currently been used for storage by the owner. And then opposite, that's where you're going to find the head compartment. You can access this from the main passageway, but you can also access this from the owner's stateroom and the forward cabin. I like the fact it's got a separate toilet and shower. As I mentioned earlier, it's got 60-gallon holding tank capacity, 140-gallon fresh water. Plenty of space in here for your toiletries and personal belongings. Plenty of hatches if you want that light and ventilation, especially if you're going to be using the shower and let some of that steam out. And the shower's even got a little compartment that you can sit down on or you can stand up on, depending on your preference. And then as we move forward, that'll take you to the owner's stateroom in the bow. This one's got a large island berth, easily accessible from either side. Again, we continue that theme with that woodwork finish. And even this far forward, there's still plenty of headroom. At no point am I having to duck or worry about hitting my head on anything. It's got a large TV mounted on the bulkhead. It's got a stereo controls down underneath. All sorts of storage compartments are available on this one. And the yacht's basically got, in my opinion, a his and hers hanging locker section because there's one on either side of the cabin. It's pretty much a symmetrical design. And I like how solid everything is. Even when you open the door, you don't feel the door flex or anything like that. Not only has it been well maintained, but it was well designed and built to begin with. And for passage making, anchor watch, things like that, I like the fact that you do have access to some of the electronics in here. And again, you can access that head compartment from here too. And then for the engines are located underneath the saloon. And because this is pod driven, the engines are further back than you would normally expect because you don't have the long shafts. The advantage of the pod driven is these are far more fuel efficient. And you're looking at a pair of Cummins QSB 6.7 diesel engines. They're approximately 380 horsepower each with approximately 720 hours on the clock. But as well as that, we've also got the Cummins own generator in here. You can see the battery bank as well. There's plenty of room down here for doing all sorts of maintenance, whether that's your day-to-day checks, whether that's your annual maintenance, or if you ever have to do any major repairs or upgrades or anything like that. Because the engines are physically smaller, there's more space here, that way you can keep different engine spares. But again, if you ever wanted to do upgrades in the future, look at how easy it is to get into the wiring for all the electrics. How easy it is to store all your different tools. That way everything's easily accessible should you ever need it. And speaking of being pod driven, the pods are in the aft cockpit underneath that transom bench seat. And this is twin CMD Zeus 3500 pod drives with integrated steering and trim tabs. This is part of the reason why the boat's joystick controlled. And again, these are easy to maintain, easy to look after. very quiet when they're running as well. I'd like to thank Joe once again for the opportunity to check this one out. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. You can go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you haven't done so already, if you hit that like and subscribe button, it really does make a difference. And I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks everyone.